All right. We should be live, guys. Everything says it's working. So give it about 5 or 6 seconds. I can check YouTube. My salesman YouTube is live and working.
Okay, My Salesman YouTube.
Yep. It's
So now
up
I
and
go.
going. My everybody's Facebook appears to be working too.
So
Okay.
I'm gonna hit share on my Facebook.
Yeah.
Ready?
Oh, here we are.
Okay. I'm going
Awesome.
to now. I shut off my Facebook, right? Just so everybody knows out there, we're gonna go live on this. This is Monday with Matt. Got Robert and Brad, and we're gonna wait a few minutes for everybody to kind of join us here. So we are officially live at the top of the hour, right, Brad?
That's right. 5 minutes.
Brad, it's a miracle you got it to work.
I did get it to work.
You had me scared.
I don't know
Hey,
why.
Hey, so let's
It's
give a little.
interesting. We literally decided to change it up to determine if we've got brilliant people around us, and we do.
Wait, Brad is brilliant.
Yeah.
We decided. So we have EQ, Robert, you're AQ, and
AQ.
Brad is IQ. Hey, before we
to-
go live, let's just share with the audience a little bit about what we're talking about.
Well, we are live though.
Yeah,
Oh!
we are live.
We're not like live because we have 5 minutes to be pre-live.
Okay.
Ken Brown.
Oh, there's Ken. Of course, Ken's early. Hey, by the way,
Oh, yes.
shout out for Ken Brown. He did a great job on the Fence Industry's #1 podcast, which is let's see, Lost from the Tragic. Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yes, let's definitely remember that. That is a sad deal, heartbreaking deal. So I'm very, very lost for words for those families. My grandfather told me at one time, he's 96 years old, that the thing that scares him the most is that he would have to bury one of his children or grandchildren, and that should not happen. That is a very sad deal. So my heart literally goes out to all the people in Texas that are suffering right now.
So, Matt, we did our Monday morning meeting. We've been doing it for a while, and I was a loss for words. And what I found is when you're lost for words, maybe just find yourself in prayer. So I prayed over my entire circle today. We put our hands on each other. I've never prayed with my team. It's just not something that we've never disliked or like whatever. And I just put my hands on everybody, and you could just feel the energy. And so, but had we not created that environment on Monday, we would have missed that opportunity. So thank you, Matt, for giving us that routine.
I will tell you, if I have a legacy in this industry, I would like it to be something to do with the Monday morning meetings. Not that I invented it. People have been doing meetings for years, and I've had a few people in the industry that said, well, I've been doing Monday morning meetings forever. And I'm like, okay, I'm just sharing how I do them. But I would like for people to know that the biggest part of my Monday morning meeting is the trust, building the trust amongst you and your people. And I stole that from Stephen Covey. Steve, I like to call him because he's my buddy.
Yeah.
Steve, not Steve-O. We're not quite the Steve-O yet, but, but
that's Brad's friend, Steve-O, the MTV
guy.
Okay, so because I like to be on time, I really do believe that this week we have stumbled across one of the hottest topics in the industry right now, especially for entrepreneurs, and it's all about how to lead people that are smarter than you. So I wanted to clarify a few things for everybody, that there's a different kinds of smarts. There's different kind of ability. I'm going to share a little bit about the one that I'm most passionate about, and that's EQ. And I think it's one of the best qualities for leaders. Brad, you're going to talk a little bit about IQ, and Robert, I put you on the spot there, didn't I, Brad?
Yeah, I have no idea what we're going to say about it.
You have a cheat sheet. You have a cheat sheet that you should be able to look at. that we actually put in the comments section there, right, Brad? You put it
Yeah,
in the
we should
comments.
see it. Everybody
Yep.
should be able to see that link.
So if you click on that, that's going to give you a cheat sheet that kind of tells you a little bit about what each one of those smarts brings. And you really need to know, as an entrepreneur, you really need to know what level of person you're dealing with. And everybody has a little bit different level of EQ, AQ, and IQ. EQ, which I believe is one of my strongest points, is the ability to measure empathy in your skills. Empathy allows you to understand the feelings of those around you. You can communicate well, and you can persuade others through influence, through conversation, through conflict resolution, and by building trust. EQ is my favorite. I think that's where I'm above average in there. I'm definitely not above average in IQ. I definitely think that I'm a smart cat, and I'm studying. I'm getting smarter all the time, especially because high tides raise all ships. And these are the guys that I hang out with right here, the Brad Williams and the Robert Whitakers of the world, and they help me. They help me build up and get higher. Robert, can you tell us just a little bit about AQ?
Yeah, so AQ it's the newest to the party. So IQ has been around since the 1900s. EQ since about 1990, and AQ is all about how your ability to adapt and to navigate unfamiliar circumstances. And one of the reasons why it's becoming so popular is our world and technology is moving so unbelievably fast. Positive change and change management is critical. And I mean, what the clear definition is how well you adjust to change, learn new skills, and thrive, specifically thrive in unfamiliar situations. I think there's some people who do well in unfamiliar ones, but do they thrive in it? And so that's what AQ is. It's definitely probably where they've put a 2-letter word attached to it.
Robert, you told me one time I called you, you're going through a stressful lift, and you said, "This is where I'm at my best."
Yeah.
I said, "Okay, bud, if you need a friend, I'm here." And you said, "Nope, I got this one. This one, I can push on the gas, and I got it."
I definitely thrive under pressure. That doesn't mean that I'm a fire starter by any capacity.
Right.
I don't go looking for them, but I know when I need to step in. I'm glad you reminded me of that, Matt.
I love it. Brad, give us a little bit of the 1-2 punch off your cheat sheet.
Well, I might already know these things. Yeah, IQ is the one everybody's most familiar with. It's probably a little over-indexed, but it really is just your ability to solve problems in your head. A lot of those are logic and math problems. It's kind of our traditional way to measure smarts, but what I really love about the topic is it's very one-dimensional. I love it. It's just one way to be smart. But yeah, it's all about problem solving. One thing we talked about ahead of this I thought was interesting is that a lot of times when people's IQ gets to a certain point, it also sometimes will mean that they lack in some of the people skills or the empathy as well.
Right. I firmly do believe, though, that great leaders have a lot of empathy, that they're not, and they surround themselves with people that are in a different area than they are. So, all right, let's do a little housekeeping. First of all, this is all brought to you by My Salesman. My Salesman pays for all this. It pays all of our wages, by the way. I tripled these guys' wages over the last several months. They're making 3 times more than zero. And so they're here as my friends. 1, because I like to bounce things off of them. 2, we all 3 work together at USS with the Certified Installer Program, which will be officially released on Friday, of the first 4 customers that are going to be in our Certified Installer for our athletic construction. Right, Brad?
Yeah.
I like that. That's good.
And Brad has proven me wrong. I love it. Because of his IQ and his EQ and his AQ, he has taken a ground zero construction company and has $2 million of prospects that he's looking at right now, right? 2 million?
Yeah.
Or 2.2?
Yeah, a little over 2. Yeah.
Right. So
But he's
prospect is
counting.
looking at, and he just landed an $80-some thousand job, and I believe you're going to land another $50,000 or $60,000 job here soon too, right? So literally ground zero from here. So hands off to Brad for proving me wrong, because I was like, Brad, you're a marketing genius. You don't want to go out and do construction, and you're like, dude, I grew up in the construction field. My dad was in construction. I'm like, man, red face. So yeah, and plus I will be totally, don't tell Brad I said this, but Robert, I was trying to get him to knock him down a notch so he would prove me wrong.
Yeah. Hey, well, speaking about humility, you can't book anything on his calendar this week because not only is he selling it, he's installing it. He's
right.
swinging the heater stick this
don't
week.
Don't go to his calendar, Lee.
It's unavailable.
Yeah, he's swinging the heater stick for sure. And Brad and I have a bet. I don't know if you know this, Matt, but Brad and I have a bet. We bet a steak. That sounds pretty cool, but anywhere in the country.
Whoa!
So anywhere in the country. So whoever wins, the other person has to fly him to their favorite steak place anywhere in the country.
Which might be my house.
Oh, good point. We might, maybe.
We're pretty good steaks in our house. I'm telling you, I can cook a good steak in your house.
Yes, it is.
There is a good steak. There's a couple good steakhouses in Dallas too.
Yeah.
Hey, all right, let's jump into this. I want to tell, this is our first time ever going this live. We're on Facebook Live. We're on YouTube Live. We're doing all these things live. I just want to tell everybody out there, this is a business chat amongst some guys. And I really do firmly believe that I have conquered this, and I think I'm really good at working with highly intelligent people. I have some of the smartest people in the industry. Robert just said to me today, Matt, I met another one of your guys and got to know him a little bit better. He is amazing. I was like, yeah, Josh is working his tail off, and he's really a smart kid. He's getting to that next level in life. And I do want to change the word from smart, though, to brilliant, because I believe it has more power. And I do believe that sometimes when we're around really smart people, we have to choose our words wisely and say less. I'm going to send this out to everybody. This is my notes here that I'm going to send out to everybody that shows up on the side of the screen here today. So I'm not going to put it on there now because I want to clean it up a little bit, and I want to put some of my sidebar notes. As you can see, I sent this to Brad and Robert. I made some sidebar notes. Let's go! Here we go. First and foremost, this is absolutely, in my mind, an essential part of leading brilliant people. Now, I do have the most important one last, number 5. Not because it's fifth in order, but it is the most important, and we're going to save it to the end. The rest of them are kind of mixed up on whatever order you're good at leading, and you have to choose what you're the best at, and that's what you have to stick to. But one of the number one things is to lead softly. And I say lead softly because you have to remember as a business owner that you are the leader. You're there for a reason. And even if you're not the business owner, which, by the way, if you're leading your people correctly, they will have a presence of ownership that other people will think they own the company. And we have this scattered throughout our entire company. Sean Owsley, people think he owns the company. Rachel, they think that she owns my salesman. Robert, you just said to me today, is Josh an owner of Empire? No, but he is, because I've convinced him that this is about us, not me. So when you're around really smart people, you have to lead softer. And you have to choose your words wisely. You have to be an outstanding listener. This is so critical that when you're in the room with a whole bunch of really smart people, you have to listen and speak last. It also helps to repeat some of the things that they say so they can hear it, because that will instigate them to even get smarter, to use more words, and to collaborate better. You never, ever, ever want to instigate drama, but you definitely want to instigate debate and conversation. Smart people love to have intellectual debate. Agree, guys?
Agreed.
You understand what I'm saying on this, on how to lead softly. And choose your words so much more careful. For instance, I wrote this down. Don't ever say to them, I feel like this should work. Because now what you're doing is you're snuffing out their ideas, and you're saying, I feel like this. You're putting emotion into this. Instead, lead like this. This strategy will definitely get us answers. Those comments are exactly the same, by the way. Now, did you hear what I said? Brad and Robert, are you tracking me on this? Is how you lead softly without snuffing them out, and you encourage conversation. When I'm talking to some of our really, really smart young people, I'm very careful about the words that I choose, because I've learned over the years that I've snuffed out some of their fires. So you have to be careful. You have to lead softer. It also helps to use a different tone, a tone of confidence, but not a tone of arrogance. Because if you come off too strong, they're gonna backpedal, because they don't have the EQ, they have more IQ. By the way, please, everybody out there, don't criticize me by saying smart people can't have EQ or AQ. They can. I'm talking about somebody in your world that has an extreme level of IQ. Robert, do you have some of those?
Oh, yeah.
And Brad, I know in your industry with marketing and filming and directing movies and doing the stuff you've done, you've worked with people with very high IQ, right?
Yeah, very much. Yep.
So the number one on the list for me is to lead softly. Be a great listener. And remember, you hired them to solve riddles. Robert, I meant to write down my Steve Jobs quote. Can you remind me how it goes?
Yeah. I'll just get it for you real quick.
Yeah, can you work on that while I'll go to the other one. Make
Here,
sure
hey, can I give a couple statistics on this lead softly real quick? Because I think numbers are critical. So I'm around statistics all the time, and I wanted to get the most critical ones. Only 2% of leaders are described as excellent listeners. That's scary, because 86% of employees feel their leaders are poor listeners. So, I mean, the likelihood of getting this right is so small. But here's what's crazy is active listening can boost the team's productivity by 25%. And the reason why that stuck out, this is all Harvard Business Review. The reason why it stuck out so much for me is a lot of people say, I don't have time to listen. So you're telling me that if we can increase your productivity by 25%, if you just spend 5 minutes, we'll get you 25 minutes back. Unbelievable.
And for the record, I want my team to know that, because if some of my team's listening, I did not have this figured out early on. In 2009 till 2015, I did not have this figured out. Matter of fact, I was the vice president of operations on a very large construction company, and I did not do this very well.
Yeah,
I have really figured this out in the last 4 or 5 years, and our company has 10x. So we are using these skills that we're learning. Okay. Can you help me with that quote real quick?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to hire smart people and then tell them what to do. We hire smart people so they can tell us what to do.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Steve Jobs.
Yeah,
Listen, he's a pretty smart cat, right?
Yeah.
And he surrounded himself with Wozniak, which was way smarter.
Yeah. There's a phrase going around that says, if you're going to hire people and not listen to them, then you could not hire them and not have to pay them and get that same advice.
Yes. So let's listen to our smart people. You know, I love talking to smart people. I was talking to this gal. She owns a powerful software company called Contractor Accelerator. And the thing that fascinates me about her is that she literally knows how to talk to a construction person, and then go write the code to fix what she does. I have a software company. I can't do that. I can't write code. I can listen and I can go to people and watch them go beep, bop, boop. That is powerful stuff. She's fascinating. This is what puts her above most in the industries, because she has the EQ and the IQ, which is fascinating. All right. The other thing is we have to make sure that we're communicating clearly, and we have to also give them, when we're leading them in a room, we have to give them meaningful tasks. You can't ask, you have to learn how to delegate with meaningful tasks. And when I say this, I don't want to put things down and say that you're too smart to do that, because that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is be smart in your leadership ability to say, why don't you let us handle that task for you, or let me handle that task, which, by the way, I usually take it and go give it to somebody smarter than me. But what I like to do, if I have somebody really smart in the room says, I'll take care of that, I'll be like, whoa. No. Let me take that task for you. Let me handle that one. Let them stick on stuff that's going to keep accelerating your company and keep accelerating the agenda, right? That's leading softly. That's being humble and say, no, we'll get this. And then plus that makes them feel more empowered that you're appreciating how smart they are and their brilliance, right? All right. So all of those categories, I believe, go under that lead softly, because that's your leadership ability to take them into that next level, to keep challenging them and do that. Okay. So 15 minutes after. So I'm going to have to pick up the pace a little bit because we have a lot to get through, folks. And if you're tired of it, don't leave me a crappy comment. Just quit listening, please. Keep scrolling, because I'm already nervous putting this thing out there on the interweb thingamajigger, the beat, bop, boop it. All right. Number 2, please recognize that you're the leader and have a plan. You have to have a plan. And your plan is so important. And remember, there's this Chinese phrase called wabi-sabi. It basically means that it's okay to have imperfection. It's okay to let things go a different direction in the plan. What is not okay is to freak out if they're not following your plan perfectly. Give people room to use what they're good at. Please. Be a duck. Brad and Robert both said when I sent them the notes, watch Be a Duck. Well, first of all, you got to tuck your wings underneath and you got to do this. No. Actually, what you do is you get.
I'm sorry to distract you. We'll take that away. We'll come back to it. Sorry. Okay. For being a duck.
Ryan Bohannon, the Mallard fencing. He's now all of a sudden he's listening. You said duck.
Yes, Mallard. Be a duck. Be a Mallard. Be a Ryan.
My bird dog's like, what, duck?
Listen, Linda. You have to be calm on top of the water, but paddling like no other underneath, right? You have to be that duck. You have to look calm as a cucumber. You have to let that water just shed right off your back. Be a duck. Meaning, don't let the people in the room see you sweat. Now, we don't want to lie. We don't want to mislead them. But it's okay if your plan goes a little bit awry. That's why you hired these people. You chose these people to come into your world to challenge you, to take you to the next level. Let them go. Let them experience. And let them fail. There's nothing better than failing fast and quick, as long as you learn from it. Robert, so many people say this phrase wrong. So many people say fail and fail fast, and they leave it alone. They don't say the rest of the sentence. I'm telling you, they're saying it wrong. Here's how you say it. Fail and fail fast, as long as you learn from it. That's the key. Failing without learning is not good, and it will not produce an ROI. We have a philosophy around here, and we call it 70% go. I tell all of our smart people in the room, by the way, I've got a lot of them. The whole room is full of them when we have our winter meetings. And I tell them all, when you get to 70%, go. Do not hesitate. Do not wait until 71%. 70%, go. Very good. All right. So I did that one quicker because it was a little bit smaller because I have a little bit more meaningful coming up next. All right. So the first one was lead softly. Second one was have a plan. Third one, do not micromanage or try to control free thinkers. People that are producing thoughts and ideas for you, do not put them in a box. I used to tell people all the time, don't make me run between the hash marks because I will be miserable. I need to run from sideline. I'm going to try to do it on the film. Sideline to sideline. Hash marks should be in here. Out here would be sideline to sideline. I have to run. I have to use the entire field because that's how I'm wired. If you give me the entire field and even let me step out of bounds and then push me back to the hash marks once in a while, I'll be just fine. But when we're dealing with these brilliant people, we have to let them run sideline to sideline. Do not micromanage them. Meaning, do not say, send me an email on this in detail. Never do that because now you're wearing them out. Say, send me an email with bullet points of what you're trying to get across to me. One, they're going to put in so many words and you're going to get lost in their wordsmithing because they're that smart. I do this to Randy Barger all the time, and I know he's going to be listening. Randy Barger is highly intelligent. He's our product manager now on our code. But I'll tell him, don't send me too much. Just send me the points that you think is important to me. They'll know. And trust them that they'll know. If you need to ask more, you can ask a better question later if you need to know more. But please don't micromanage them and have them give you all the details. Also, very smart people love for you to respond quickly to them. They want to know that you care about their thought. You don't even have to read the whole thing, but just let them know, hey, I've received this. I've got this, right? This is important. This is something I've learned really quick is I know the people in our business. Max is one of them. Max is, and by the way, I hope my people understand that it's okay. I'm picking on them a little bit, but I've learned how to work with them. Max is one of those highly intelligent guys that he needs to know you received his message. So you just say, hey, I got that. I'll work on it a little bit later. And he's fine. Otherwise, he's worried that you're micromanaging. That's called micromanaging, and you're being cruel and trying to control them. Celebrate their wins. Robert, you and I were talking earlier today. We want to celebrate their wins. And by the way, I don't like to shout from the mountaintop once they get the wins. I like to shout from the mountaintop as they're going up the mountain and then at the mountaintop, because along the way, they will climb that mountain faster. Mountain. That was an echo, by the way.
That was good.
They will climb that mountain. They'll climb that mountain for you faster if you give them praise along the way and you're constantly singing their praise. Don't wait until the end because they're going to get to a spot in the middle and they're going to have a campsite. They're going to stop and they're going to wonder if they're doing okay. They're going to wonder if this. You have to celebrate their victories. And the smarter they are, the more you need to do it along the way. They need those words of affirmation. Most intellectually smart people need words of affirmation, even though their EQ is not that high, right? They need that encouragement to keep on going. Delegate and trust. Give them tasks that are in their sweet spot. This goes a little bit about leading when I was saying earlier about knowing what they're good at and taking away the small tasks, but know what they're good at, their sweet spots, and give that to them and delegate and trust that they're going to handle it just fine. All right. How are we doing? Those are, we've gone through 3 of my top 5. How we doing, Robert? Do you have any comments to add to
Yeah,
it, or
so
can we
let's,
read some of the comments?
Let's go back up to Nathan Downs, because I think that's an important one to get some people, I guess, unstuck, because that's a great question. So Nathan, if you're on, what I'm hearing is you're asking, is there a particular role, like for example, sales, or you looking for an EQ versus an HR, you're looking for AQ or whatever? Is that what you're asking, Nathan? If you could just thumbs up the comment, maybe.
Well, and let me, while he's doing that, let me add a little bit to this. I like to try to surround myself with people where I'm the weakest. I'm the weakest on the AQ and the IQ. So if you look at my team, matter of fact, if you look at my absolute officer team, each one of them have a trait of that is important to me. But I have more people that are smarter and at the IQ and the AQ than I do EQ, because that's an area for me that's very easy. So Nathan, if that's what you're talking about and you're growing your organization, I think that you should hire people and bring in people that accent your weaknesses. For instance, Max, one of the number one reasons I hired Max was to be my project manager, because he's organized, he's smart, he's not afraid to have straight talk. He's one of the few that are not afraid to tell me, no, Matt, you're wrong. You need to stop it. You need to stop acting like that. You need to stop treating that person that way, because they're important to our organization. And he's the guy that can do that to me the best of our entire company. Now, I have a lot of those guys. So I'm just picking on Max because he's been here the longest and he can handle it. I don't want to pick on too many of my guys.
Yeah,
all right, go ahead. What other one?
Yeah, well, real quick. So a couple different things. So let me zoom out what you just said, because definitely in a larger organization that has experienced leadership, I mean, you can definitely get around the opposite of you. But if you don't know how to give them room to work, like all the things you're describing right here, if you get the opposite side of you, they're just going to frustrate and annoy you and end up in a terrible relationship. So if you're a high EQ, you go get an IQ, you'll never mesh, because maybe you don't have meeting rhythm, or you don't have clear communication, vision, mission, whatever it is. You find yourself micromanaging because they don't do it the same way you do it. You believe your perspective is the only perspective. And so you've got to understand, to be able to have these compliments is to understand what it's like to be on the other side of you. You need to really realize, like, what is it like to receive what I'm saying? And so I think right now that regardless of the role, I think EQ is what people are asking for. They're wanting an emotional connection, because with COVID and how quickly we got disconnected, and with AI threatening the connectivity of conversations, and not even trusting that the information that we're receiving is written by a human anymore. Like, I think EQ is what people crave. I think it's also what's going to allow us to understand the true problem. So when we pump in information to AI, because AI is replacing some IQ, right? So AI is going to help us problem solve, as long as we heard the right problem. Whatever you feed into AI is critical, and that's where you get the EQ. But unfortunately, the world's moving so fast, you've got to be nimble. So you can have a plan, but you've got to be willing to adjust. So I don't think that there's one size fits all. Right. I think it's just important to recognize that you use the tool for different problem solving techniques. If anything, I think the world's been leveled a little bit. Because
no, a lot.
True. Yeah,
because you don't have to have the absolute. You don't have to retain everything, because you can get it instantly at your fingertips. You can say, "Hey Siri." On the way down to Kansas City yesterday, I was with Sarah and Drew. They wanted to go down and see our new branch down there, so we went down for a field trip. I was literally asking Siri questions the whole way. So it has done more. It's not a little bit, it's a lot, and it's going to be even more. I heard a comment the other day that said, AI will not replace you, but somebody that knows how to do AI really well will replace you. So use AI for your benefit, and AI is not the end all be all. But I think we should all be using it a little bit.
If I were to sum it up, though, I think you cannot hide from EQ. You have to be willing to emotionally connect. That's what the next generation is requesting.
Yeah, I agree.
And you have to find people that believe in AQ, that they are not scared of change management, but you also got to understand the positive change management. Like, change isn't a bad thing, and things are only difficult until they become familiar.
Right.
And so, anyways, I don't think there's a right answer. And definitely depending on the field you're in. If you're in manufacturing, somebody who's extremely technical is critical for the success of that. So IQ probably would be higher up. That's just my 2 cents on that.
I love it. Okay, so Nathan, he said yes, and Brian would like us to start over, so we're going to start the show over.
Hey, I want to make sure nobody misses. We're talking about micromanagement. One of my favorite things I heard in the last couple months is if your team can't function without you, you're not leading, you're micromanaging.
Right.
You're not giving them space. We heard that at Job Nimbus. They do a surprise 2 weeks where they just tell a leader to leave for 2 weeks and they see where the holes in the bucket are. Yes. And so they're always inspection ready in a sense.
That is something that we're going to work on here at Empire. I'm going to ask, I think I misunderstood that. I've done a good job of getting myself out of it. Now I have to figure out how to get my other leaders out of it so they can have everybody with responsibility. All right, let's jump back in this. Number 4. Number 1 was lead softly. Number 2 is have a plan. Number 3 is never micromanage or try to control them. Number 4, to lead in brilliant people, freedom to explore. You have to give them freedom. You have to let them run. There's an acronym out there. It's called OKRs. It's the objectives and key results. And this helps with ownership of the task, but also accountability. Brilliant people love to be held accountable from what I've observed. Most of my really highly intelligent people want to know, am I doing good? Am I hitting the marks? Now, some people call that a KPI, keep your people informed. Did you catch that, Robert?
Yeah.
I changed it. I know you call it a key performance indicator, but I call it keep your people informed.
Yeah.
Because I think it's important to let everyone know where they're at and what they're going. And by the way, I was horrible at this for years. In the last 3 to 4 years, I've done a lot better job, and we're even getting better. We're taking it up another notch. And that's when I've seen our company grow the most. When I figured out, okay, we have to have tough conversations. We have to hold each other accountable, and we have to make sure we let them know where they're at on that. And by the way, I'm struggling in some areas of our company, and we're not doing that. Robert, you and I have talked about this. I have to be able to have an OKR, which is objectives and key results, or a KPI, keep people informed, to make sure I let them know. Also, encourage them to have some fun in researching a product or a solution. People with high IQs love to read and love to, which is why I probably have just recently started to love to read. I'm just finally getting smart. At 53, I'm starting to grow my IQ finally. But with that being said, let them do that research and let them grow in that area. And by the way, never, ever, ever use your arrogance in the room. Don't ever let them know that you're the boss and you're doing things your way. They know. That's why they're so smart. And by the way, if you're doing a good job of leading, you should never have to say you're the boss. Never. You should never. I hate when people say, this is my boss. No, we work together at Empire. Come on. Stop it. We don't say that. We don't do it. All right. Now that one only took 2 minutes, but this last one, and I think this last one, Robert, you and I can agree on, is our favorite, right?
It is. Hold on, a couple things. I just posted. I have a typo, but bells are bells when they're rung, and songs are songs when they are sung. And so let them ring it and let them sing it.
Where did you get that?
Man, unfortunately, somebody was giving a speech on the gentleman who passed in the flood, and that was his favorite saying. He wanted people to ring the bells and sing the songs because that's what they were intended for. And And it really is true. And so when you say freedom to explore, I hear freedom to grow, freedom to ring the bell and sing the song. And so if that isn't catchy, we will, none of us will forget what's happening right now in Texas for hopefully ever. But that was the gentleman's favorite saying, because he led teenagers who led the camp. So he had to give them the freedom to explore. So, yeah. So,
wow, that one got me. Doggone it, Robert.
Well,
good job. You're not invited back next month.
Well, we're taking our 2-week off next month, right, Brad?
Yeah. Okay.
Non-paid. Your non-paid holidays. The pay's great, but there's no holiday pay. All right, let's get to this last one here because I want to be done at about 1:15. And I really do firmly believe that this is absolutely critical. And if you're going to do anything in business as an entrepreneur, please don't step on your people's ideas. Don't squash them. I wrote down here, you want them to know that they can bring ideas and you will try any idea. Let them dream. Let them dream and let them dream big and help their dreams come true. Because if you even remotely hit it, everybody's going to buy in. Now, I'm a dreamer. This is my biggest thing. This is why I am the CVO of Empire, is I dream and I dream big. I say, we're going to build a lake out here. It's going to be in the shape of the My Salesman Mouse, and we're going to move 80-some thousand yards, and we're going to flip this dirt over here, and then we're going to sell these lots, and we're going to 1031 some of that land out, and we're going to buy another house to make a retreat center out north of Waverly. Robert, those were all dreams. And you've seen them, haven't you?
Yes.
So let your people do that, and don't snuff out their dreams. Let them dream and let them dream big. Who cares how big it is? Dream as big as they want. Because once they see how hard and heavy that lift is, and they get just a little bit of success, they're going to start working next to you and pulling even harder. So one horse can pull 1,500 pounds, but 2 horses can pull 6,000 pounds. Why is that? Because they're working together. Now you have people dreaming with you. So no matter what you're doing, whether you're in a My Salesman software, a USS wholesale distributor for sports equipment, a fence and netting company that's worked from Puerto Rico to Hawaii, from North Dakota to South America, a fabrication shop that lost $640,000 real dollars 3 years ago, or a brand new hot coat that's going to have a state-of-the-art facility in Waverly, Nebraska that nobody has within a 1,000-mile radius. No matter any of those, let them dream and encourage that dream. And actually, if anything, jump into the dream with them and say, you better believe it, we can fly. Let them dream and let them dream big, and do not squash that dream. And I think today, Robert, when you and I were reviewing a little bit, because you and I have next year, I'm going to let a little bit out of the bag. Robert and I and his brother are going to do something really cool. It's not a podcast. It's different with Brad's help, because Brad will be behind the scenes. Let's admit, he's the IQ. He's going to be making us look good, but we're going to put together something really cool for the industry. And we're hoping that it'll help people get out of those camping spots that they're in. But most importantly, please, everybody, I'm talking from the heart. One of the reasons, and I'm not bragging, but we've had some success, and Robert and Brad, you both have met some of our people, and I think you can both testify that it's not fake. Now, that doesn't mean we get everything right. And when we drop the ball on some people, and some people just aren't a good fit, I think that's healthy culture to let some people go and move on and do their own thing and go somewhere else. But I will tell you this, if somebody comes in here with a dream, whether it's to own their own acreage or to build their own home, or if it's Tommy that just came in the other day and said, I never dreamed I could get a home loan, but with the magic of Empire, I was able to make it happen. Now that's cool. So if you encourage your people to dream and encourage them to think outside the box and to reach for the mountaintops, that's what's going to spin this into something. Now, as a leader, sometimes you get wrapped up and you're like, I can do this, we can do this, we can do this. And sometimes you have to pull the reins back and go, uh-oh. All right, I got a lot on my plate right now, and I need to do what I'm doing really well. Because sometimes we have a tendency to want to grab all those irons when really we're supposed to be the ones stoking the fire. Did you catch that, Robert? Brad? Right now, Brad, you're holding the iron and stoking the fire. But eventually, you're going to have to hire somebody that you can say, hold this iron and while I go figure out this other riddle. And we call it riddles, right? Because what happened in Texas is a problem. What you and I get to do every day, and I was telling Ken Brown this one time, we have riddles that we get to solve. It's fun what we get to do. The struggles that some of these people in Texas are going through, that's a problem. There's nothing you can do about it except for pray and encourage them. That's it. What we get to do in this thing called business to deal with really smart people that are like, holy cow, how are we going to do this? Because I surrounded myself with all these highly intelligent people, and now I have to be the leader. Whoa, that's a riddle. That's fun. That's what we get to do. So I encourage all the people that are listening out there. And I hope there's a ton of people on Facebook. I'm sure that we have some really weird comments because we're putting ourselves out there today, folks. Which I don't always like to do, but I'm telling you, I'm passionate about this leading smart people. And I think that this is something that everybody could use a little bit of help on, especially if you're an entrepreneur. And even if you're just working for a company and you're a supervisor and some of the people underneath you are really smart, that's good for you, folks. That's not a bad thing. So in the last 5 minutes, I'm going to give each one of you 2.5 minutes to wrap this thing up. Brad, I'm going to let you go first. What do you have to say?
Because if you let Robert go first, I would only might get 30 seconds at the end of that.
I'm going to guarantee you your 2.5 minutes. Go.
So I think kind of going back as I went through this, a couple of things that I heard that really stood out to me was, we were talking about the IQ and the EQ and the AQ. Sometimes people just show up differently. And I think about, there's a guy at our church that is incredibly brilliant. And I served on the church board with him for, he was on there a year or two, the same time as me. And he never said anything. And he was a smart guy, never said a word during the board meeting. And I attended his, it's Sabbath school, which is Sunday school, but we go on Saturday. Not to confuse anybody. And he has a class. And when he's teaching that class, I've never seen someone who can so brilliantly handle a room of adults who don't always agree on the subject matter. And I think there's this recognition that just because someone shows up and they're quiet in a room or they need a certain environment to speak up has nothing to do with their IQ, their EQ, or their AQ. Different people show up differently. And I heard that throughout like this whole message. Like that was one thing that just really, really spoke to me. Same thing with, giving people, there was a comment in here, celebrating their wins and, the support you give people has to look different. You have to meet them where they are. I think about, I'm not doing this totally alone. I've recruited 3 other people to come behind me without pay and get in the trenches and fight with me.
Well, wait a minute. You bamboozled 3 people to come and work free for you while you're growing your startup business. That's pretty smart. I did the same thing, by the way, to Jamie and Scott and Sarah.
Well, that was my inspiration. I heard.
Was it really? Are you serious?
Absolutely. And, I think about like what they've each told me in so many words is they all need me to show it for them in a different way.
Right.
They need the expectations communicate differently, different type of emotion, different type. When we're together, they need different things from me.
I love it. Well done. By the way, Nikki says you have 4 free people.
Yeah. I messed up, man. I forgot she was listening. I have messed up now.
Okay, Robert, since Brad took 3 minutes, I'm going to give you 3 minutes, but you better not take 4 because you know I like to be done early.
Sounds good. Give me 1 second, because I think everyone's going to want this one. So I love what you said, Brad. That echoes clearly, and we can't assume judgment just because somebody remains quiet or doesn't act. But it is extremely scary at the end of the day when your team stops talking. Right. And 1 out of 3 high performance leaders based off of Gallup said they stopped giving their input for these exact reasons we've listed right here. We've stopped contributing to their growth. We've stopped listening. We've micromanaged them and worn them out and burnt them out, whatever the case is. And so the most dangerous decision you can make in your business is to silence your best employees. And I'm about to drop this in here, and I think this is critical. The only reason you would silence any of your people, the only reason why you wouldn't take this advice is because a person who is their own mentor has a fool for a mentor. Let me say that. A person who is their own mentor has a fool for a mentor. Seeking only your own advice limits your own growth and wisdom. And I'm dropping this in the chat because I truly believe that if you're not willing to take other people's perspectives into consideration, you are mentoring yourself and you are a fool.
Wow. That's powerful. That's calling yourself out right there.
So
you have 1 more minute.
That's all I need to say.
I love it. Oh my gosh, Robert, I'm so proud of you. Michael right now is in the truck going, Warner got Whitaker to zip it. No, I'm kidding. I love it. All right. So, hey, I'm going to sign off with this for the record of anybody out there that listen to this. If you have some more, I am not a coach. Robert is a coach. There's some really good coaches out there. I do encourage people to get life coaches also, not just a business coach. Get even a fool. What's Santo? By the way, Santo's a good egg. What's he saying there? I can't quite read it. Can you read it?
He dropped the Proverbs. Throw it in there. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise, and he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding. Proverbs 7:28. Sometimes the wisest thing you can say is nothing. And I love that. Thank you, Santo.
Yeah. And I do believe earlier in the episode, I said, don't erode your credibility. Sometimes I used to do this all the time. I wanted to add on and on. And I actually, I hope the people closest to me have noticed lately that I've been trying to talk on top of them less. But now that I'm doing that, I notice that I get talked on all the time. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what that felt like. Ouch. That hurt. I do it to Melanie all the time. And I'm really subconsciously trying to say, stop it. Just listen and wait for them to finish, because I don't want to erode my credibility when I do speak. I hope that's powerful for everybody. I hope that everybody enjoyed it. We're going to sign off. We went crazy. We went on a whole bunch of different Facebook links. I hope everybody enjoyed it. We got done in right about 50 some minutes. So I hope it's powerful stuff. And I hope that you enjoyed it. If you need some more coaching or you want, I'm going to do a plug. By the way, Robert doesn't pay me for this, but I'm going to do a plug, Purple Coaching. And he's got a mastermind class that I think is absolutely brilliant. And I hope that everybody knows that we're just trying to help. This is not for money. We're just trying to help people learn how to be better leaders. And that's it.
Matt, I appreciate the plug. The mastermind, we are going to do a mastermind on this topic. We're wrapping one up over the next 3 or 4 weeks, but we're redoing it. It was so good as soon as I fill the class. So if anybody wants to talk about this for 8 to 10 weeks, it will change your perspective. And Ken, I see him commenting on it. Matt, you've been into him. We've got some really great people, 38 people to be exact. And so would love to have people in a mastermind to talk through this, because a 1 hour live show is not going to solve this. And this is a heavy lift.
It's a very heavy lift. Matter of fact, I cut this way down. Remember, Robert, earlier I said,
yeah,
I have too much to say because I've learned so much in the last 15 years of doing business. And by the way, when I say I've learned so much, I've screwed it up so many times that I'm finally starting to get it right.
Yeah. If you're interested in this stuff, this is what I love to talk about. I love to mastermind it and everything else. So I appreciate it. And I guess the cat's out of the bag. So yes, Matt, Michael, and I, and
We're going to do more of this.
and Mark Olson.
Yeah, and Mark Olson from
with Job Nimbus.
Can help out a little bit too. And we
Tall
might have
job,
a
a
special
tall
guest.
Mark Olson. So
Yeah. Very good. Very good. All right, let's sign out. Brad, thank you everybody for tuning in. Peace out.